All right, so we're going to continue in chapter 11. You learned how to find mean, median, mode, range, and standard deviation, all 5 values. And today we're going to do transformations of data. So, for example, um, these are the given numbers, 7, 12, 16, 20, and 20. So let's just say that that's how old people are, like the ages of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And then 10 years from now, this is how old they're going to be. Okay. So in 10 years, this will now be their ages. So we add 10 to 7, 12, 16, 20, and 20. So their ages are now this. So what happens is, and these have already been worked out for you. So the mean, median, and mode of their ages are 15, 16, and 20. If you add 10 to all of the data, then the mean, median, and mode will all go up by 10. However, which makes sense, right? The average age over here is 15. The average age over here is 25. It's not going to be the same average. But the range and the standard deviation, which are the measures of how spread out the data are the same. Because the difference between the oldest person and the youngest person is 13 years. That's the range. And if you add 10 years to both of them, the range is still 13. It's not going to change if you change all of the data by the same amount of numbers. The standard deviation is how spread out that is. So if you take the 13, you're basically saying how spread out are the ages from each other. And that standard deviation, how far they, like basically the average of their differences almost. It doesn't change either. So what happens is if you're going to add or subtract any values to the original data, then it's going to change the central tendencies, the mean, median, and mode, we're going to go up by that amount. The reason this helps you is because if you do the work for the original numbers and then they say that everything goes up by 10, you don't have to redo all of the math. You only have to do the math once. And then for the rest of the answers, you could just add 10 to the mean, median, mode, and the range of standard deviation will stay exactly the same. So when we're doing these, for example, they're asking us to find the weights, they're given the weights, of 5 kids. And those 5 kids have weights of 48, 52, 60, 50, and 55. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that here. 48, 52, 60, 50, and 55. Actually, I'm going to write those. I don't really need to write them in order, I guess. So I'm just going to go ahead and write them out. 52, 60, 50, and 55. So if I want to find the mean, I'm going to add up all those numbers, and I'm going to divide them by 5. So I have 265 divided by 5, which is 53. Okay, that's the weight of the average weight of the kids. Okay, 55 pounds. Now, the median is the middle number if these were in order. So let me go ahead and put them in order. It'll just be easier. 48, 50, 52, 55, and 60. Okay, so I'm just going to put them in order. So the median is 52 pounds. That's the middle weight. The mode, there is no mode because every single number is different. So this is none. And then the range is how far it is from the smallest number to the biggest number. So the kid that weighs the least is 48 pounds. The kid that weighs the most is 60 pounds. So the difference between those, the range, is 12 pounds. And then the standard deviation, we're going to have to do some work. So remember, for standard deviation, you take all of the numbers, subtract the mean from all of those. So that's going to give me 5, 3, 1, 2, and 7, because we don't care about the negatives or positive numbers. Then we square and add. When you're doing this, you could just do 25 plus 9 plus 1 plus 4 plus 49 in your calculator. And that's going to give you 88 when you add up all those numbers together. You need to divide that by however many numbers there are, which there are 5. And then you also have to take the square root of that. So that gives you about 4.2. So that's the standard deviation. Okay, so this is our first set of answers. For the second set of answers, for number 2, it says all the kids gained 4 pounds at the end of the month. These are little kids, obviously. So now they want us to find all of these all over again. So really, all you have to do is add 4 to these 3, and the standard, the range, and the standard deviation aren't going to change at all. So the mean goes up by 4 pounds. The median goes up by 4 pounds. You don't add none plus 4, so don't put anything here. So there's still no mode. And then these are your second sets of answers. And so you really only have to do the work once for the first set of answers. And for the second set of answers, all you have to do is take, since the weight is going up, if the weight was going down, you would subtract 4 from all of these. So you're just going to add 4 here, and add 4 here. Okay? So that's transformation when it's addition or subtraction. So if you're either going to add or subtract, and you only add or subtract to the mean, median, and mode. The range and standard deviation stay the same. Now, for multiplying, so let's say you're changing all the numbers. So these are the original numbers that were given. And again, these were the answers that were already worked out. And now, these were the ages of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And in the first problem, we said they added 10 years to all of these. But now they're multiplying their ages by 7. Well, obviously they're not ages because this is 140, but you get the idea. Maybe they're, it's not ages. So, but anyway, so we multiply by 7, okay? So now what happens is that these all get 7 times bigger, which means that the range, which was 13, now gets 7 times bigger than it used to be. And so the range, instead of being 13, is now 91, which is 13 times 7, which is what the original range was, times 7. So what this means basically is if you multiply or divide by a constant number, then you have to multiply everything by that number. So everything was going to go up 7 times as much as it used to be. So the mean, 105, the median is 112, the mode is 140, the range is 91, and the standard deviation is 35. So they will be more spread out. So it's going from 49 all the way to 140. So the data is more spread out than it used to be, where when it was just going from 7 to 20. Okay? So multiplication, division, everything changes. Adding and subtracting, only the mean, median, and mode change. Okay? This is just if they tell you that something increases by a percentage, it's a multiplication problem. So a 30% increase, when you multiply, you have to multiply by 1.3 because it's basically 130%. Okay? So you're basically 100% of the price plus 30% of the price, which would give you 130%. So it's multiplying by 1.3. And if it was a 30% decrease in a price, then you multiply, it's not subtraction, but you would multiply by 0.7 because you're paying 70% of a price, or it's 100% minus 30%, which is 70%. Okay, so that would be the multiplier, like in these numbers. So that's it. I will send a worksheet out so that you can practice section 11.2.